Well, hello, everyone. This is John Byrne with Poets and Quants. We have a great session for you. If you're interested in pursuing an MBA online, this is one session you will not want to miss. We call it Where an Online MBA Can Take Your Career. And we have three online MBA programs at three great schools. They're very different from each other because as I've said before, all online MBA programs are not created equally. Some are totally asynchronous. Some have a combination of asynchronous and synchronous elements. Some have immersions on campus. Some do not. Some have more career support than others, including one-on-one coaching. So when you're looking for an online MBA, these are some of the things you need to consider, along with the flexibility. All these programs offer incredible flexibility. Some allow you to stretch out the time that you can take the degree longer than others, and some allow you to complete the degree quicker than others. But these are all elements that we're going to get into in this webinar and talk to you about what it is like to go back to school and earn a degree in a rigorous program online. So let me introduce our three panelists today. From the University of Illinois Gies College of Business, we have Casey Jones, who's Director of Recruitment and Admissions. From Indiana University's Kelley School of Business, their Kelley Direct MBA program, we have Stacy McPhail, who's Senior Director for Professional Advancement. And from Purdue University, we have Chris Luby, who's Director of Career Development Graduate Programs. Welcome all. So just to get our head around this, I want each of you to describe your program in sort of basic terms. How long does it take to complete? What's involved? Maybe a sense of how, if you have live internet sessions, I think that's a key ingredient because some online MBA programs do not have any live internet sessions. Whether you have immersions and whether you have concentrations or majors to speak. So Casey, let's start with you over at Gies.
Sure. Thanks, John. So at Gies College of Business, our online MBA program is known as the IMBA. So you'll hear me refer to it as the IMBA quite frequently throughout our session. We welcomed our first cohort in 2016 with about 114 students. Our program was built to be at scale, however, so it has grown rapidly and currently enrolls about 4,500 students in 2024. We have 5 intake cycles each year. Our courses run on 8-week sessions, so we offer a lot of flexibility in how you take courses, but also when you can jump into your degree program. Our program is designed to be completed in 2 to 3 years. However, with the average student taking about 2.5, but we do offer flexibility in that as well. So learners do have up to a full 5 years to complete the degree requirements if desired. We describe our curriculum or coursework as a combination of asynchronous and synchronous learning. So we do partner with the Coursera platform to offer what we really refer to as the virtual textbook for the course. And that component is asynchronous. It does include pre-recorded lectures or short videos, as well as readings and peer-assessed quizzes and assignments. But to earn credit hours in the program, we layer that with what we call our high engagement component, which is live lectures with our faculty, engagement with peers in the program, and then traditionally graded quizzes, exams, projects, and papers. Our program can be completed fully online if desired, but we do have a variety of options to come to campus or in person to collaborate with your peers. So we have an annual event on campus each September called iConverge, which typically brings a couple hundred of our online learners for 3 days on campus for professional development and networking. We also have opportunities for international immersions, visited a lot of really cool places. Just this year, we've been in South Africa and Malaysia. We're planning for Vietnam in spring of 2025. As far as the curriculum itself, we have 48, total of 72 credit hours. 48 of those are core courses, which all students complete. And then the remaining 24 credit hours are elective coursework, which can either be customized to your desires and a mix and match of coursework, or you can pursue dedicated specializations and earn an embedded graduate certificate to show your expertise in that area as you pursue the degree. John, let's see. I was trying to make a list of things I was supposed to hit on. I think I got the bulk of
I
them, but
think that's
anything I
pretty
missed?
good.
All right.
If I had to add one thing, which I think is important, is, your MBA is disruptively priced. The full in cost is 25, a little less than 25 grand. And that's unusual in the online MBA space. The other thing is, I have been at iConverge a number of times. It's a great event. You even get to see a football game when you're there. But more importantly, there's tremendous bonding among the classmates and the faculty during that 3-day event every year. I've attended it maybe 3 or 4 times, and it's a blast. It's definitely worth going to if you're going to do the IMBA. So let's get the nitty-gritty on the Kelley Direct program. Stacy, how would you describe it?
Oh, thanks so much, John, for having me. I appreciate it. This program is really, I think, just top of the class when it comes to engagement for online students, both with our synchronous learning. We have classes that are required live every week, but also with our opportunities for global immersions and in-person connections. So we offer programs called Kelley on Campus and Kelley on Location, which are both in-person course experiences that you will take one in your first year, which is Kelley on Campus, and then your second in your second year, you'll take Kelley on Location, and those are held in different locations around the country. Next year, we're going to be in Louisville. This past year, we were in New Orleans. And the really great thing about that is it's an opportunity for students to get together and network and connect and form those relationships that are going to carry them through after they graduate and as alumni. We also have domestic immersions, which I think is really great. I will have an opportunity to go with a course to the Consumer Electronics show in Las Vegas coming up in January. And the course is actually being taught is about disruption and innovation in the technology sector. So I'm excited to get a chance to sit in on that course, and then it culminates with going to that show, and then there's some final projects. So there's some really unique experiences that while we're an online program, we really do a lot to build in that sort of in-person networking. And then I think it can't be understated the value of the Kelley Alumni Network. We are working with a group of over 800, not just Kelley, but Kelley Direct alumni that have spoken up and said, hey, I want to be an ambassador for the program. I want to connect with students. I want to interact. I want to help them make relationships that are going to continue on. So I think that's something that really distinguishes our program as well. As far as some of the nitty gritty, we do take just over 2 years to make it through the whole program. We have a variety of different, ours is set up in such a way so that you complete Core 1, which is a series of required courses. Then you have Core 2, Core 3, and you have some opportunities for electives mixed in there. But it does tend to be a little bit more rigid in when you take certain courses, but that's done very intentionally. Our faculty that teach are the same faculty that teach in our in-residence program. And I think that's something that makes the online experience for our students very special. Okay, anything that, John, from your perspective that I failed to touch on?
I think that there's a lot of chances to meet your students in person, including an event on campus every year where a faculty member actually creates a live case study where the protagonists are there and you have to present to them. And that's
Yeah.
unusual because it is every one of those case studies is original and developed by faculty,
Yeah.
um, which is unique. That doesn't happen anywhere. And that's sort of a cool feature of the program, I think.
Yeah.
And of course, you do have global immersions as well as the domestic immersions that you mentioned. I always think of, Kelley as sort of a fully featured online MBA program. And it's historically been very highly ranked across all the ranking systems, including our own. So
One
there,
thing I should add actually is that just this year we've made the decision, and the reason why I'm here is to move career services from the sort of general graduate career services office for Kelley in-house into the Kelley Direct program. So I'm able to, my job right now is to really create and craft online career services that serve this unique needs. We realized that we needed to be enhancing what was being offered. And so we're looking right now at planning all kinds of both in-person and online events. How are we connecting students to alumni? How are we building out services that address those unique needs? We have 14 now part-time career coaches that are able to take event meetings on nights and weekends, which I think is really great and helpful for the online learner who's continuing to work full-time and manage classes. So I think that's some of the new and exciting changes that have happened here.
and that seems to coincide with your introduction of a new Plus Flex MBA program where you take all your core courses in your first year on campus, and then you take all the electives in your second year online, which is a brand new, just announced recently by Kelley. And it's just another wrinkle to doing an online program that's not entirely online.
Yep.
Okay, so Chris, give us the lowdown on Purdue's online MBA.
Sure, I will do my best, and please help me fill in the blanks as needed. So I work, me specifically, I work across all of our residential and online as well. We are fortunate to have a dedicated career coach solely for our online students, but our program is designed to be 100% asynchronous. And though there are opportunities for students to attend live, deep dive, or office hour sessions with the faculty who, like some of my colleagues mentioned, also happen to be the same faculty that are teaching in our residential programs. There is no requirement to come to campus. Though we have a couple of new offerings that have recently, one will be piloted in the spring and one that was just started this past August. And so we have an executive presence course that is designed to incorporate faculty and alumni into a student campus experience, which lasts a weekend. And then we'll also have a career development weekend, which is going to be really focused on getting students on campus so that they can really dive deep on some of their skills analysis and really touch some of the things with being on campus that will allow them to really, bond with their classmates as well as build out their own portfolio of skills. There are, let's see, it's designed to go 2 years, though you can take up to 5. It is 48 credits across 20 courses, and it's not a lockstep cohort model. So there is flexibility built in to the education so that for those working professionals, they can continue to prioritize what they need to at those different times. So that's our program in a nutshell.
Do you have concentrations in the degree?
Concentrations will be coming next fall as that comes on. So currently there aren't any, but that is a new addition that will be in place.
And your online MBA program has been offered for how many years now?
Yeah, we had our first class that came in the spring of 2020. So we'll be hitting our 5-year mark next May. So
Perfect. That's great. Now, Chris, I wonder if you might address what you do in terms of a career curriculum for students.
Yeah, thanks. So I mentioned earlier that we do have a dedicated staff member supporting just our online students, but they're part of my larger team, which is 5 of us that support across all of our programs. And while we have that dedicated member, we also use a referral-based process. And so one-on-one coaching is allowed at any given time in the program. They're not restricted. So whether it's your first day or it's up to 6 months after graduation, it's still available to you to tap into that resource. And we really we function very collaboratively across the different coaches, because while we have an expert in that space, we want to make sure that we can refer students to some of the other experts on the team to get the full complement of the different coaching styles or backgrounds that we have. We have a good mix of industry professionals as well as higher education professionals with over 100 years experience across the group. And so we're really proud to be able to really carve out for this group, specifically address their needs.
Great. Stacy, you mentioned before, the depth in your coaching staff across your programs. Can you give me a greater sense of the careers curriculum? Because I know Kelley has devoted a lot of attention to this in the full-time MBA program with Me Inc., for example.
Yep, absolutely. And that's one of the things that we're working on building out. Our coaching staff is really unique in that they are both industry and higher education professionals. I love the fact that we have a former consultant on our team who he's actually currently working in the field, but he's doing this as a secondary job because he was a Kelley Direct student and he did a pivot himself. And so he is offering his guidance and feedback. I think that's fantastic. We also have folks that I have an HR professional from Cummins Engine that had been working at Cummins for 25 years and is now working as our career coach. So we have a variety of industries and fields represented. The other cool thing that I think is really exciting is that we've also narrowed down topics that they're experts in. So if we have a student who comes in and says, hey, I'm really interested in making a pivot, I have folks that specialize in working with those students. If I have folks that might say, hey, I'm dealing with a problem with my boss and I'm struggling and I'm trying to figure out what to do. We have coaches that are helping with that. We are taking a very holistic approach, but also a very personalized one-on-one approach. And I should add that the Kelley Direct Professional Advancement Team officially started on September 3rd. So we're very new. We are building out a lot right now. So far we've had over 600 registered career appointments since September 3rd, so which is a big increase. We're finding that students are really excited about meeting with us, and we're digging into the details right now to find out, how many of those students are making return appointments. We're also building in career content to every stage of a student's experience with us. So just yesterday, I submitted all the content for our orientation portal. So students really understand the value of starting early and meeting with a coach and following that content through their life cycle with us. And then just today, I had a meeting to talk about, how are we offering career services to those students that are getting ready to graduate and move forward into their alumni piece. One thing that does make us very different, we have made the decision to serve prospective students. If they are interested in and they're looking at IU and they want to meet with a career coach, they can do that, which I think is something that's pretty special. Then obviously they'll meet with current students, and then we're also going to be offering lifetime access to coaching for our alumni as well. So we are really wanting to make sure that students know that they will be served by Kelley at any stage that they are coming to us at.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. I have to say that a lot of these changes reflect the changing nature of students and their expectations, because historically, if you got an online MBA degree, it was assumed that you got it to advance in your current career with your current employer in your current industry. And that if you wanted to do a career change, a full-time residential program that offered a summer internship was the ideal way to go. And what we've seen over the years is more and more students who go online wanting to do that career switch, which requires then much more career support than had been available earlier in the cycle. And I think, your changes, Stacy, at Kelley, are reflective of this trend of a new generation of students who just want to go online. They don't want to quit their jobs and lose their income. They don't want to pay the opportunity cost of that. They need the flexibility to balance their professional and personal lives. And And the technology has improved to a point where doing online is fantastic. In the early days, and Kelley was a pioneer, they literally would send out VHS tapes, okay? We're way beyond that time now,
Yep.
where the quality of the instruction online is really superb.
Yeah.
And the other thing that's happened, and we'll get into this a little bit more, is that many features that had been standard in residential MBA programs have been imported or in a simulated way in online. And this includes the immersions, the office hours, student clubs and organizations that you would normally find on campus that are now online for students, and a host of other opportunities, be they meetups with potential employers, getting access to guest speakers, things that you would ordinarily assume would only be the province of an on-campus MBA have now been imported into many online MBAs, and it makes a big difference. Okay, so Casey, tell me about what you're doing in terms of career shaping, career development at Gies.
Yeah, absolutely, John. So we have some traditional offerings, job boards that are available to our students, resume review services, as well as interview preparation. But a lot of the coaching aspect is actually peer-to-peer and coming from fellow students in the program, as well as our alumni base as well. Career services are actually not something our students pay tuition or fees for. As John alluded to, our program was introduced at kind of a groundbreaking tuition and total cost of $25,000. So when it was introduced, just as John alluded to, a lot of our students were really just looking for that progression in their current careers. We have seen a little bit of that shift, but we've been able to maintain the model that we originally introduced, again, because of the size and scale of our student population. So we've been very fortunate that our students and alums have been willing to kind of serve as that coach and mentor for our current students and also their peer alums as well. With 10,000 plus current students and alums just from our IMBA program, we have learners from nearly any industry that you can think of, Fortune 50 companies to startups and entrepreneurs. So our program does help facilitate those connections. Similar to Stacy, we will work with prospective students to connect them, maybe not so much in the one-on-one career coaching, but ensuring that this program is going to help fulfill the needs of those prospective learners in fulfilling whatever that shift in their career may be. And then, of course, certainly for our current students, we have a lot of variety of different ways to connect in our virtual networking platforms for that career advice and mentorship. If students are looking for more specific one-on-one career coaching, we do have a list of dedicated industry career professionals that they can pay a direct consulting fee to.
And what I find at Gies and many other schools is that a lot of job opportunities are revealed by your classmates. You know, they know of a job that came opening in their company, and they share that information with their classmates. And truth be told, most job openings, most opportunities today are not advertised or not all that public. So leveraging the alumni network and leveraging your classmates is a key way to identify new opportunities for you while you're in an online MBA program. The other thing I wanted to mention about the Gies program, Casey, is the stackability ability here. You don't have to immediately enroll in the online MBA program and become committed to the full program. You can take a graduate certificate at Gies, which is unusual. It's a set of 3 courses in a particular area. And then you could actually apply the credits that you earned in that certificate toward your eventual degree. You could even take a master's in management online and apply the credits to that from that program into the online MBA. And that's an unusual feature that's generally not available in most other places, right?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people don't know what they need until they start stepping into it. And our programs certainly allow you to kind of get that taste and feel or what you need at the current time, but recognize the credit hours that you've earned towards the next credential.
And it allows for a baby step. Okay, let's say you're not completely certain and you want to just check it out. You can take a couple of courses, even one course, for credit. And if you like it and want more, you can do it that way. That's pretty unusual as well. Now, what do you, Casey, what if you had to identify one thing that makes your program truly distinctive, what would it be?
Yeah, I think it's, gosh, that's hard to pinpoint one thing. I think we've talked about so many of them already, but it's to me, the combination of quality at an affordable price. There are affordable programs and there are certainly quality programs out there, but Gies has done it in a way that we're able to offer both to our learners and with flexibility built in at the same time.
Yeah, totally. I think that's absolutely right. Stacy, what makes the Kelley program distinctive?
Oh man, it's I'm a two-time alum from IU, so I bleed cream and crimson. I love this place. So there's a lot of things to really like about it. But I will say the Kelley Direct program itself, I think there are two things. I think the quality of our faculty and the fact who you're being taught by, and I think the ability to have in-person experiences at set stages where you're able to connect and build personal relationships that only go on to benefit you even after you're here. And then, I hope this time next year I'm sitting here saying, and it's the quality of our career services as well. I think we have a lot of building to do, but I look forward to our career services being top notch as well.
Yeah, I think that's true. I also think, your elective portfolio is extensive and includes a lot of things that are almost unusual from real estate law and valuation, cybersecurity, intelligence leadership, financial engineering, digital transformation. Um, and when the program had been revamped a few years ago at Kelley, they really doubled down on your ability to take a lot of electives instead of just a few electives. Many online MBA programs, you have your core, and your core often is reflective of more than 50% of the requirement. Kelley squished that down, accelerated it to allow you to really dig deep and specialize with this incredible catalog of electives.
Yeah.
Last time, I think there were 90 plus electives in the program. Am I right on that?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
But one thing I should add actually that's pretty cool, we are offering a free class for our alumni to take part in on generative AI for business leaders. It's happening right now. We were expecting we might get 40 people to participate, and we had almost 500 register. And it's completely free. We're going to be doing it every fall from now on. So there's going to be access to continuing education. I had an opportunity to sit in on the class last night and it was fascinating. So the idea that you can graduate and go on, and we are continuing to offer opportunities for you to enhance your learning, I think is pretty special.
Yeah, that's very cool. So, Chris, what makes the Purdue program distinctive?
Yeah, and while I'm hearing my colleagues talk about theirs, we don't operate at the same scale that they do. So our program is much smaller in size, and I think that affords us tremendous opportunities to really connect with our students and build community across the different cohorts as well as with the alumni as well. So I mentioned we have that dedicated team member that is part of the career services team, but they're dotted line reporting to our online programs managers as well. And they have a really tremendous relationship that they're able to really focus in on what kind of one-on-one service we can offer to students who need it. They meet regularly with their faculty as well as the other program side to make sure that we're able to really kind of give that customized service as well. I think we've been able to be responsive. The two immersion programs that are coming live this year were really driven, you mentioned earlier, about student desire. So we're able to kind of incorporate that because students asked for it, And so the ability to respond and bring something of value to them and enhance their experience is really part of that as well.
Terrific. Now, I wonder if I could ask, what employers most appreciate about your graduates. When I think of Purdue, of course, you immediately think about the excellent engineering school. And I'm sure that the overall university reputation brings a lot of excellent students to you in the business school who have an engineering background, even though, of course, it's open to everyone and accessible to everyone. But from an employer perspective, what do you think an employer most appreciates about your graduates?
Yeah, and we hear this time and again. It's a real strong point of emphasis around the quantitative knowledge that our students get, bring with them, and then enhance through the coursework. What that allows them to do is really use data to gain credibility and solve problems, where they're able to bring information that is backed by data. It's rigorous through their analysis, and they're able to really contribute and solve some of these challenging problems that employers need. This has been a hallmark of Purdue for a while, as you said, the tremendous engineering legacy that goes along with that. And it's really come across over to the business school. And there's a lot of emphasis as we recently became the Daniels School of Business, and we have a new building in place. This is one of the 5 pillars that we take us into the future to continue to take that quantitative analysis and bring it forward and apply it in practical situations, right? Throughout learning, as well as when students enter or return to their jobs after course, so that they can really solve those problems in a credible way.
That's great. Stacy, what's your take on that?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's something I've been learning a lot about myself as I transition into this role. And what stood out to me, and in the conversations I've had with a few employers so far, is the strength of their technical skills, their ability to make decisions well, to work within groups, the soft skills that they develop. I've had some conversations with alumni so far who have talked about, oh, I remember when I was in this class and now I'm taking that and applying it into my role now, and how much it was a practical education that is really benefiting them no matter what role they go on to do later. We really do have a lot of practice-based learning. You mentioned earlier the Kelley on Innovation, where the faculty member works to create a case study and have students present on a particular problem. I think it's really great that we are able to offer those experiences for students. So there really is there's a lot. I look forward to learning more even, but I'm learning that the strength is really in the education that they get. They are really well suited to go out into the job market and tackle today's business problems.
Casey, what about a Gies? What do employers most appreciate?
Yeah, I think there's 2 things. One is the collaborative spirit. Group work is an essential component of all of our coursework and embedded within each and every course. But along with that brings diversity of thought because of the various industries, the various countries that are represented in our program. So rather than doing a training program within your specific industry, our learners are learning about how things work in other industries and opening up that diversity of thought and bringing in different perspectives and ways of looking at things. And so I think that's very valuable when they go back into their companies or seeking new opportunities, is having a very broad view of business across industry, but also globally. We have 160 countries represented throughout our current student body and alums. So how do you do business in the Middle East? How do you do business in China and Singapore? And that global aspect is also incredibly valuable.
Yeah, and I should point out, because of the price point and the fact that you don't have mandatory in-person sessions, the Gies program tends to have a much larger percentage of international students than most programs, and that is a unique differentiator as well. So now, Casey, let's talk a little bit about the alumni network. How do you help graduates connect with your alums, and how do you foster the bonding that many MBA programs talk about when you think about, the lifelong enduring connections that you can make through an MBA program.
Yeah, sure. So Workplace is the platform that we currently use as kind of an online water cooler for our students. They can join groups and subgroups based on their industry or courses that they're taking, maybe interests that they have outside of their professional or academic lives. They're introduced to Workplace as a current student, but continue to have access as an alumni as well. So that serves as a valuable first resource for continuing and maintaining those connections. That iConverge conference that happens on campus each week, each September, is also crucially important. This past year, I ran into many alums that mentioned this being their 6th or 7th time coming to the event, which is really just astonishing. One mentioned, I'm closer with some of my peers in this program than I am with my sorority sisters from undergrad. And so that's really amazing. In addition to iConverge and events put on by the programs, by the program itself, a lot of our students and alumni facilitate their own meetups just because of those connections that they have or posting within those workplace groups. Alumni engagement as a whole, however, is a huge strategic priority for the college over the next 2 years. We've actually brought in an external consulting team to really look at, evaluate, and transform how we do alumni engagement. So while I think it's strong now, we're only going to see it continue to grow in the coming years ahead.
That's great. And then, of course, the Kelley Alumni Network is pretty big because you have a massive undergraduate program and you have probably one of the most extensive portfolios of specialized masters, and you've been in the online MBA space for ages. So talk a little bit about how you get that alumni network to work on behalf of graduates.
Yeah, it's a great question. Something that I'm really proud of, I mentioned, so that you're exactly right. The alumni network for all of Kelley is about 130,000 strong. And that's just Kelley. That's not IU, that's just Kelley, which is really amazing. But out of that, as far as Kelley Direct, we have those 800 folks that have stepped up and said, hey, I want to be involved. I want to connect, which I think is really great. We have a member of our team who has spent the 2024 year going and hosting meetups and in-person networking receptions for people across the country. She's been to 70 cities in 2024. We're wrapping up with a finale in Chicago in a couple of weeks with the idea of making those connections and helping people just continue to live the Kelley experience. It's been really exciting to be a part of and is going to be a part of our strategy moving forward. We probably won't hit 70 cities next year, but we're going to be doing a lot of other things as well.
Great. And even though your online MBA is relatively new at Purdue, you've been in the business education game for a very long time. So tell us about your alumni network.
Yeah, so the minute students start their program, they're entered into our platform, which is done by Graduate. It's called Purdue Ties, and this allows them to access alumni across all of Purdue University, so that they can begin connecting. Alumni can opt into how they want to support students, and it gives them warm leads essentially when they're trying to build that out. But in addition, the growth of the alumni with their peers is really baked into the program. So although it's asynchronous, 70% of the coursework is completed with a teamwork component to it. And this really fosters, those relationships that will endure, as you say, beyond when they finish their program, because of the time spent working with the teammates that really are kind of some of those core elements that we've seen in MBA programs. There's a lot of peer interaction that also is occurring around individual courses as well, that want to connect across the different groups, even if they're not paired with them in teams. And certainly, this is because of the scale of the program, we're able to bring in more of those recurring teammates that they'll encounter throughout their time. I'm also proud to report that just last week, on November 7th, there was a Purdue Business Toast, which occurs globally and 30 major cities around the world, all toasting on the same day. And so students that are either alumni or current students can find these different events, and they'll all post and share and put on social media all the different elements as we continue to raise our glasses to toast the education of Purdue business. And so this is a great recurring event that's able to connect students across the different generations and reinforce that alumni network.
Do you send out bottles of champagne?
You know, that's above my pay grade.
Gotta supply your own champagne for that toast, I bet.
Maybe some virtual champagne, I guess. I don't know, but
There you go. Exactly. Well, let me just say now, for any of you out there who are considering an online MBA, these are not only 3 great programs to consider, but 3 very different approaches to online education. 3 different price points, 3 different levels of flexibility, 3 different levels of features. And so these are great programs to really get a holistic view of what's available in the marketplace in all high quality, highly reputable, highly admired business schools that really have made a difference in the industry. So if you want more information, the best place, frankly, to go is their own websites. You'll see detailed explanations of the features of each of these online MBA experiences, along with information to allow you to contact people in admissions, maybe hook up with a current student and get a sort of frontline view of what it's like to attend the program, and even find an alum who could give you some perspective from the industry that they're in that you may want to enter or that you're already in. I'll also have each person on our panel here tell you how you can either get in touch with them directly or a member of their team. Chris, let's start with you.
Absolutely. You can reach me via email at cluebbe@purdue.edu. Happy to talk, answer questions, or refer you to someone who can help.
Fantastic. Stacy?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to chat with you. My email is sg as in George, McFall, MCFALL @iu.edu.
Perfect. And then Casey.
Yeah, and my email is going to sound confusing, but I'm also a proud alum of the University of Illinois, so still my maiden name that I carry with me. My email is Wilson, WILSON 34 @illinois.edu. Myself and our team would be happy to connect with you.
Super. Okay, so we have Illinois Gies, we have Indiana University Kelley, and we have Purdue Daniels, and check them out. I think we gave you a lot of information, a lot to think about here. Whatever your decision is in terms of an online MBA, you can't go wrong. This is going to be a transformative experience for you, even though it is online. You're going to find a lot of bells and whistles and that you would in the past would have only found in the residential program. The technology and the leverage of it is spectacular in these programs because a lot of attention to detail has occurred. A lot of work has been put in by the faculty and the staff in each of these schools to deliver a really superb educational experience. This is John Byrne with Poets and Quants. Thanks for watching.